Ever wonder why your brain does that weird thing it does? Why you have that bizarre dream, or say something you immediately regret? Well, it's because you've got the most complex object in the known universe sitting in your head. So, let's figure out how we even started trying to understand it.
All right, quick. When I say the word psychology, what's the very first image that flashes in your mind? Go.
Yeah? It's this guy, right? A therapist, a couch, maybe a little notepad, and a serious look. You're picturing Freud. And look, you're not wrong, but you're not exactly right either. Because while Freud is, a huge deal, the real story of psychology is way, way weirder and more interesting than just one guy. Because what if I told you the real history of psychology involves ancient Chinese emperors and, yes, licking kittens? You heard me. To get the real picture, we gotta go way back.
So, let's talk about the ancient mind readers. Because humans trying to figure out their own brains, that is an ancient obsession. The word psychology itself literally means the study of the soul.
And I mean ancient. Check this out. You've got Aristotle in the 4th century BC just thinking about thinking. 2,000 years ago, Chinese emperors were using personality tests to hire people. And in the late 800s, a doctor named Al-Razi in Baghdad was running one of the first ever dedicated mental hospitals.
But, they didn't get everything right. The great philosopher Aristotle, he was absolutely convinced that your consciousness, your very being, was located in your heart. Solid effort, but nope.
Okay, let's fast forward a couple thousand years to the 1800s. This is when psychology decides to become a real science. And you know what happens when things get scientific? People start fighting over who's right.
So, the first big showdown was between two camps. On one side, you had Wilhelm Wundt and the Structuralists. They wanted to break the mind down into its tiniest building blocks. They'd ask people things like, describe the sensory experience of licking a kitten. I am not making that up. On the other side, you had William James and the Functionalists, who are like, that's useless. Who cares how it tastes? The question is, why do we have an impulse to do that in the first place? It was a total battle between the what and the why.
And right in the middle of this huge scientific argument, our old friend Sigmund Freud shows up and basically flips the entire table over.
And his most radical, world-changing idea wasn't about dreams or mothers. Not really. It was something much, much bigger. It was this, the unconscious. Freud's big bombshell was the theory that most of who you are, your hidden fears, your secret desires, your deepest memories, is all happening in a part of your mind that you can't even access. We're all just icebergs, and the tiny little bit we see above the water, that's the conscious part. The real action is all happening underneath.
Think about how wild that is. The idea that you are not the one driving your own bus, that some hidden part of your own mind is making the decisions. Back in 1900, that was a shocking, revolutionary concept.
So where does that leave us today? Well, after Freud, the field of psychology just exploded into a bunch of different directions.
Today, psychologists have this massive toolkit. They've got Freud's ideas, sure, but they also have behaviorism, which only studies what we can actually see and measure. There's humanist psychology, which is all about reaching your full potential, cognitive science, which treats the brain like a supercomputer, and neuroscience, which is literally looking at the physical wiring.
So the main takeaway is that there's no single right answer. The human mind is just too complicated for that. Modern psychology is this huge, awesome melting pot of all these different ideas all working together.
And don't just take my word for it. An astronomer, a guy whose job is to study the entire universe, said that the human brain is, and I quote, by far the most complex physical object known to us in the entire cosmos. Not just on Earth, in the universe.
Which brings us to the final question. You are walking around with the most complex thing in the known universe sitting between your ears. So what's it going to do next?